are you really? Who are you? There are times in my life I just had to sit and wait in the Lord and say, thank you. Thank you for not answering my prayers, some of my prayers. Thank you so much for closing some doors in my life. Have you ever done that? A lot of people pray for God to open them the doors, and then certain doors, and they are really so on fire, and they think that they know what they want and who they are. There are many times happen in my life that God removed an individual, and I sat down and I said, thank you. You knew me and you know me better than I know myself. This happened to me many times. Thank you for closing that door. Thank you for not answering that prayer. What was I thinking when I asked you to do that? And you protected me. God protects us from the things that we don't even know. And many times, He protected me from me by not answering my prayers, or answering some of my prayers with an answer, no. Because I didn't know myself well. I came so far to find my identity in Jesus Christ. And it takes a long journey for some people. Can you imagine? I am coming from a Muslim background. I was taught all my life until I came to Jesus Christ that what I cannot do because I was a woman. And I still am. But God is telling me what I can do through Him now. I was always told that I was inferior to man. I was always told that I could not change a thing, not only in my life, in other people's lives as well. I didn't know who I was. And years later, when I found my identity in Jesus Christ, when my Muslim mother started coming and visiting me, and we were also visiting them, and my husband and I would take my mother to the best place we could ever think or imagine, just to honor her. And I remember the times that I used to run to the restroom to cry, weep, seeing my mother with no identity. We used to order something. I used to, what would you like to drink? What would you like to eat? And my mother would say, whatever you guys order for me is fine. I don't know what I want. I don't know what I like. Whatever you guys are drinking, I will drink that too. Completely blended, no personality. Why? Because of abuse. Why? Because of lies of the devil. And when I was going to the restroom to just weep for the condition of my own mother, God would always remind me, I was the same, just like her. If anybody told me I like blue, I would say, yes, me too. Oh, you like this? How do you like your eggs? I just like the way you like. Whatever you are ordering, I am fine with it. I'm not talking about right now being easygoing. So you can be so free and deliver, it doesn't matter. You are content with anything and everything. I am not talking about that. There's a freedom in that too. But I am talking about just trying to blend to make it and make it work with people. People pleasers, they don't know their identity in Christ because they try to win people through pleasing them, and I was one of them. If you are a doormat, you cannot be a servant of God. And many people are in the churches, they try to be a doormat and they are burned out because they don't know their identity in Christ Jesus. And there are times I remember, because my father told me that I was ugly and stupid. My mom said the same thing. And years later, my father told me when I became a CEO, president and CEO of a corporation, my father said, you are brilliant, you are so smart. I said, Dad, you always told me I was stupid. And now you're telling me I am smart? Why did you tell me then I was stupid? He's like, I always knew you were smart. So I was telling you, this is a cultural thing, folks. I was telling you that you were stupid so you could try to prove that you were smart. And it worked. Look at this, reverse psychology. And that completely messed me up. Because the labels that people receive all these negative labels, it becomes a conflict within. Conflict, what is this conflict? Conflict of one side that you are created in God's own image and you can do all things through Jesus Christ. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. This is one side and this is the truth. And the conflict on the other side, what you believe about yourself. What you believe that who you are. Through the labels and through the lies of the devil, through the things that other people told you about you. And if you've been through what I've been through, serious abuses, and being beaten up, abandoned, kicked on the floor, spit on, you come to a place and you say, I just want to survive. I just want to make it. If you were neglected and abandoned and rejected, most likely, you need to find your identity in Christ, Jesus, not to become a people pleaser. I came to a place in my life and I had to say, no more masks. No more masks. In the Middle East, we live with masks. And it is not only in the Middle East. You go today to church and people say, praise the Lord, hallelujah. And they still put their happy masks while their hearts are aching, while they don't know who they are. Years ago, I was holding a conference about freedom and there was a title of insecurities, freedom from insecurities. And I was just telling people how insecure people are different than humble people. Usually people confuse insecure people with humble people. And it is completely the opposite. Insecure people, first of all, insecurity comes from pride. And you are looking within to find your worth, find your identity. But humility comes from finding your security and identity in Jesus Christ. There's a huge difference. Insecure people are high-maintenance people, easily get offended. They are not humble. You cannot do anything enough. No compliment is enough. No pat on the shoulder is enough. They are hard work. This is why you work, you talk, you have a phone conversation with someone and you walk away and you are completely exhausted. You completely like, what's the matter with me? Why am I feeling the way that I am feeling? You know why? You spoke or you spent time with an insecure individual. You cannot make them believe who they are. And then, on the other side, a humble person needs nothing to find his or her self-worth because he's secure in Jesus Christ. He knows his identity. You don't have to tell him, or you don't have to invite him and say, oh, you sit in the best seat. You take the best seat. You're an honored guest. You are this. You don't need to say that. You sit him on the floor. You sit him in the back. You don't even say hi. That person is secure because he knows his identity in Jesus Christ. He is unshakable. This is the key point with you knowing your identity. You're unshakable. Outside external events cannot shake you as a person inside once you know your true identity in God. And this man came up to me and he was just weeping and weeping and weeping, and he said, you have no idea what this message did to me today. And he couldn't talk at the beginning. And I was in one of those churches that no emotionalism. You are not allowed to show any emotions. And this man, really at the beginning, I saw this man, he really looked like he put it all together. But not at the altar. When he came, he was just weeping like a little boy. His lips were shaking and he couldn't talk. And after he cried and he finished crying, his eyes were all red and swollen. He said, I want to tell you this. I am a doctor. And today, first time after hearing you, I realized that I became a doctor because I was and I am a very insecure person. Because I always wanted to be a missionary. I always wanted to go to the nations and spread the gospel. I had this incredible calling and passion in my heart, but I thought that it was not good enough for me to feel secure. So I thought a profession in my mind that what could make me secure? What could give me a good identity for me to feel better about myself? And I came out with being a doctor. And first time all these years, first time, I am recognizing I became a doctor because only I am insecure. And I was insecure. He was weeping. And he said, today, I made a decision. There's a mission trip that my church is doing, and I will be joining. There was always something in me when I heard about these trips, and I would never participate because I was afraid. I was afraid. Why? He didn't explain, but I can tell you why he was afraid. Once you want to find your identity in Christ, and once you make a decision, you got to lose control of that old identity. Sometimes you got to leave things. I was studying my master's in divinity. I invested 2 years. And on the day I was going to student services to get more credits, God spoke to my heart during my prayer time. And he said, you are not going there. Enough diplomas. Are they making you any secure about yourself? Enough studying, he said. You are not finding your identity in me. You are finding your identity in your studies, and the more you do, the more you are hindering your ministry. And the more you do, the more you are finding your security in those studies. And I am not against the studying, please don't get me wrong, but I am against, and God is even against, if you are doing it for a wrong reason, to find your worth. Find your worth in diplomas. Even finding your worth and identity in your job. I know individuals that the moment they fail in their jobs or the task that they were given, they were completely and utterly devastated. Because they took it upon themselves as a failure of themselves. And I had to sit with many people, many young people to say, listen, you failed in this, but you're not a failure. You failed in a marriage, maybe. You got divorced, but you're not a failure. You just failed in one area of your life. And God can still put it together. But people live their lives after a divorce with the big D sign on their foreheads. I'm divorced, I'm failed. Something happened with your kid, and you feel like a failure as a parent. You know why? Because you don't know your identity in God. Because when you know that you are going to fail in this life, and you are going to make mistakes. And you don't have to run away, feeling defeated and feeling a failure. Today, if there's anything you can seek, because I'm telling you, this is a major thing in everybody's life, to find their identity in Jesus Christ. People who have their identity in God, they don't have to compete with other people. People who truly now know Christ, and who they are in Christ Jesus, they don't need anybody to telling them anything. Jesus Christ knew his true identity. He said, if you see me, you see my Father. Who being in appearance of God, did not consider equality with God something to be grasped, but made himself nothing. Jesus Christ made himself nothing. taking the very nature of a servant, being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself. He humbled himself. He humbled himself and became obedient to death, even death on a cross. You see, because he was secure in his identity as Son of God and Son of Man. And it was okay when people spit at him, when they slapped him, when they naked, utterly naked, crucified him. He didn't lose anything from his identity. When people hail him as king and call him Emmanuel, when he entered Jerusalem and they were just shouting, he was the same Messiah, same Son of the living God. And when he was kicked on the floors and spit on, he was the same Son of God, Alpha and the Omega, beginning and the end, was, is, and is to come. Same person. Because if you have your identity secure in Jesus Christ, your title, your job, what do you do? How do you submit, yield, whatever it is, it doesn't make you any less than the other person next to you. Because you know your identity in Jesus Christ. And it is not about you. It is about him. It took me years to understand that and accept another thing and embrace that I was the daughter of the King. I was the daughter of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And today I want to tell you, people write to me all kinds of stuff and tell me all kinds of insults, degrading words I receive every day, hundreds of them, from Muslim men and sometimes Muslim women. Do you think it changes anything in me? It changes my worth in Jesus Christ, what they tell me? Do you think it has any effect on my identity? Not anymore. Not anymore. One thing you need to do for you to be secure in your identity is to read the Word of God, the Bible, and receive what is written about you in this amazing God-breathed book. You need to read it, but not only read it, you need to almost study yourself, to understand yourself. And that is a key in your life. There's a key in your life to know your worth. There's a key in your life to know who you are. There are people, they blend so easily. They don't tell you what they think. They don't tell you who they are. And after a while, you just discover a completely different person than you thought that you knew all these years. And you are like, wow, where was I when this happened in front of my eyes? Where was I? You just simply didn't know who they were. And they also don't know who they are in Christ Jesus. A few years ago, there was a lady that she was putting some conferences for me, and she was a little pushy in her ways. That she would want me to speak here, speak there, and spend time with her, do an intercessory prayer with me. Let's do this, let's do that, always coming after to spend time with me. And one day I had to tell her, I say, please don't look at me as I am Jesus. I am not. And this makes me feel very uncomfortable, because people can make you feel very uncomfortable that you have to act perfect and you have to do a certain way. And I am like, I just want to be me. I just want to tell you when I don't want to eat this, when I want to eat that. I don't like this color, I like this color. I don't want to meet with you tomorrow because I just want to be simply in bed. I just want to have that kind of freedom. And this woman was trying so hard to be my best friend. And it doesn't work that way. And I used to, when I was so insecure, pretend that a lot of people would tell me, you are my best friend. And I would say, yes, I am. And in my heart, what is she talking about? Pam is here today. She's my best friend. It takes effort. It takes commitment. It is a covenant. Friendship is a covenant. You give so much, and the person with you also gives so much. This is an amazing relationship. And God is in the middle. But you cannot be best friends with 10 people. But I was best friends with 2-3 dozen people. Why? Because I loved that love. And that made me feel I had worth. And that lady was doing this, but I was already delivered and freed from that. I was no longer a social engineer. I didn't want to be a best friend with everybody. But I prefer quality than quantity. So she's really trying. I said, finally one day she said, what will it take for us to be best friends? She directly asked me that, and I'm like, never anybody asked me that. And I just look at her and I said, if you, truly, this is what I told her, if you truly want to be my friend, I cannot tell you about best friend thing. It has to be God. But I can tell you good friends, how we can be good friends. Please give me my freedom. If you want to be my friend, no masks. If you want to be my friend, know that I am very imperfect, so I don't have to pretend that I am this super spiritual person all the time, that I have flaws. If you want to be my friend, don't be pushy. I told her, give me my freedom. I just want to be me. I am so tired of the previous years, all these years, that I tried to be someone else. It is freedom to be me. It is freedom for me to crack a joke, clean joke, or laugh, or be silly. It is freedom. I just want to be me. I am never a sophisticated person. I never like to dress up. I mean, my ideal outfit is flip-flops and, seriously, jogging pants or even PJs. I just want to be me. I tried so many years to look good, to act good, to behave good, and be this and be that. It is tiring. Do you know that I used to have migraine headaches a lot when I was trying to be someone else? Because it creates a conflict within you. You talk to someone and you get so tired. And not because of that person this time. I am not talking about insecurity because of other person. I'm talking about your insecurity, that you pretend to be good. You are good. And it takes so much out of you to act like perfect. And finally, I came to a point. I am just going to be me. And there were people in my life, they pretended that it was okay to be me, and later on they said all kinds of things to my face when I felt very free with them. So, believe me, open to criticism, open to betrayal, open to all kinds of insults once you are being you. There will be always people they don't like you, there will be always people they love you. But you cannot live your life for them. Genesis 1:27. So God created mankind in his own image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female. He created them. I mean, listen to this. Isn't this good enough that we are created in God's own image? I am created in God's own image. The president of any country is created in God's image. As someone in a part of an African tribe living in a jungle, created in God's own image. A prisoner, an inmate, whatever murder or rape and whatever case that he is serving in prison is created in God's own image. And we are all sinners. Isn't it good that it doesn't matter whose title, education, career, whatever it is, financial background or situation, rich or poor, we are created in God's own image? Genesis 2:7, then the Lord God formed a man from the dust on the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being. Jeremiah 1:5, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations. And if you are in Jesus Christ today, I want to tell you, you are King's sons. You are King's daughters. Scripture says that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. Today, I just want to invite you. Come to the altar and pray and lose that false identity that you have been carrying all these years and find your true identity in Jesus Christ. Today I want to invite you, if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, surrender your life to Him and find your calling, find who you are, God called you to be through Jesus Christ. Just come.